The fear of man bringeth a snare. Now, John Flavel, one of the great Puritans, said there are three kinds of fear. There is, first of all, natural fear. If somebody, for instance, pointed a gun to your head and you knew there was a bullet, and he said, I'm going to pull the trigger, surely there would be a natural instinct to fear, wouldn't there? But then there is the filial fear of God. That's the fear of respect, to hold God in awe. Proverbs 23 verse 17 tells us, envy thou not sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Fear God. It's the beginning of wisdom. That's the second kind of fear. We should fear God in the proper sense, not a slavish fear, as we sang. Satan brings man into a slavish fear. But the right kind of fear is that proper honor and that respect for God. But then there is a third kind of fear, and it's a sinful fear. The fear of man bringeth a snare. What do we fear? We fear that men don't have such a high opinion of us. Why is that? It's because there's pride in the heart. That's why. There are perhaps people thinking right now more of their Instagram accounts and their Facebook accounts and how many likes they have, more than what God thinks of them. There are people right now thinking, I want the world to think well of me. I want my friends to think that I'm clever, that I'm smart, that I'm a great achiever, that I'm a great person. They fear being not only rejected, but not being well thought of. You see, underlying all of that is what? Pride. That's what is at the heart. The fear of man bringeth a snare. Satan, well, one of the things he does, he wants you to think that you should be well thought of. Whereas really, we shouldn't be well thought of, really, quite frankly, because we're sinners. We've strayed from God. And one of the ways he works is deceiving people in thinking that life is all about pleasure. It's about being thought well of. It's being, number one, being accepted by people. And that is the meaning of life to so many people in this world. If you have this, you have that, you have popularity, you have friends, you have this, you have that. That's life for you. And that is life for so many people. Their popularity. What people think of them. When you're young, you soon realize that friendships are pleasurable. It is pleasurable, isn't it, to have friends? But that can be a form of idolatry. A terrible and a wicked form of idolatry. And those especially who know what it is to be the center of attention of those friendships and those groups. You want to be the captain of the team. You want this, you want that. You want to be the center of attention. You fear what man thinks. What are you doing? You're putting yourself first. How many likes you've got? What people think of your latest post. What's at the heart of that? It's idolatry at the heart. And that's consuming so many people's lives today, isn't it? I mean, what is consuming people's lives today? The media. And so much because you can put yourself out there on the media. You can put yourself out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You're promoting yourself. It's not the place for a Christian. Not at all. It's a dangerous place. I'm not saying don't use the internet, but I'm saying be very careful how you use these things. Because the fear of man bringeth a snare. It entraps you. It's like a drug. It's addictive to be at the center of attention. And then when all of a sudden that is taken away from you, you have nothing. You care more about what people think than what God thinks. This is the human heart. It doesn't just want to be accepted, but it wants to be thought well of. How wicked the heart is.